Greetings, citizens of the world. This is Anonymous. We address you today in response to the recent implementation of the Online Safety Act in the United Kingdom. Let us be clear. This legislation was never about protecting people. It is a calculated attack on freedom, cloaked in the language of safety. Under the guise of protecting citizens and combating harmful content, the UK government is quietly erecting a digital censorship regime. The recent statement suggesting the Labour Party could consider banning virtual private networks after a sharp rise in VPN downloads only confirms what we already know. This is not about safety, it is about control. Banning VPNs means removing one of the last lines of defense that individuals have in regards to preserving privacy in the digital world. The state is now attempting to dictate how you access the internet while demanding identification for basic digital interactions. This is a clear move to silence dissent, monitor thought, and erode freedoms under the illusion of public interest. When the people seek privacy, the government calls it subversion. When the people seek anonymity, the government calls it a threat. We will fight this. We will resist every attempt to normalize mass censorship. The internet was built on the principles of openness, innovation, and freedom, not submission to authoritarian oversight. The Online Safety Act represents a dangerous precedent, one that could be replicated in other nations if left unchallenged. If they silence one voice, they silence all. If they ban encryption, they ban privacy. This is a war on digital autonomy. We see what is happening, and so should you. Freedom of expression is not a luxury, it is a right. We are anonymous. Expect us.
In the last few hours, public frustration has grown significantly following the announcement that the United Kingdom government, under the Labour Party, may consider banning virtual private networks. This development comes on the heels of the implementation of the Online Safety Act, a controversial piece of legislation that has already stirred widespread concern. The mere suggestion of restricting VPN usage has only deepened existing anxieties about online privacy, surveillance, and digital freedom. Many people have turned to VPNs as a necessary tool to maintain privacy and regain access to online content that has become restricted due to the new regulations. Since the Online Safety Act took effect, VPN downloads have surged, highlighting a clear public response. Users are unwilling to sacrifice their digital autonomy. VPNs provide not only privacy, but also protection from tracking and data collection. For countless individuals, especially those who work online, access educational resources, or participate in global conversations, VPNs have become essential. The notion of banning such a tool has been met with immediate backlash. Critics argue that rather than addressing the root problems with the legislation, the government appears to be doubling down on control. Many view the potential ban as an overreach, one that risks alienating the public and setting a dangerous precedent. The move is seen not as a step towards safety, but toward increased surveillance and restriction. As frustration mounts, it is clear that trust in the government's handling of online rights is diminishing. Citizens are calling for transparency, technological understanding, and a digital future where privacy is respected, not penalized. Across the United Kingdom, a growing number of citizens have come to believe that the Online Safety Act is not the protective digital measure it was originally promoted to be. Instead, many argue it has become a restrictive force, complicating the way people access and interact with the internet. While the legislation was introduced under the premise of safeguarding individuals from harmful online content and creating a safer digital space, its real-world effects have raised widespread concern. Rather than fostering a more secure environment, the Act has led to new limitations and barriers that many feel undermine personal freedom and online accessibility. Initially presented as a positive step toward internet safety, the Online Safety Act has resulted in tightened controls over information flow. Rather than promoting openness, it seems to have constructed boundaries around knowledge and access. For many users, the experience is less about safety and more about being cut off from important content. The unintended consequence is a digital environment where individuals must navigate more rules and surrender more personal data simply to view content that was once freely available. One of the most controversial aspects of the new rules is the requirement for users to verify their age through personal identification to access content labeled for mature audiences. While this might seem like a minor inconvenience, the implications are far more serious. In many cases, the restricted content includes material related to current events, political discourse, social activism, or educational resources. Users who value their privacy or who are cautious about sharing personal details online are finding themselves locked out of important conversations and information. These concerns are not abstract. They are grounded in real risks that come with submitting personal data online. Data breaches remain a persistent issue across industries, and even some of the most powerful companies in the world have experienced security failures. When sensitive identification data is compromised, individuals may face long-lasting consequences ranging from financial harm to personal vulnerability. Given these realities, it is understandable that many citizens are hesitant to provide such information to platforms that cannot offer absolute guarantees of protection. What troubles many is the idea that in order to access certain content, particularly content related to news, education, and public awareness, one must first offer up their private identity. This requirement shifts the internet away from being a space of open inquiry and transforms it into one where access is conditioned upon exposure. To many, this feels less like a step towards safety and more like a retreat from digital freedom. The frustration among users is compounded by the belief that those who designed and implemented these regulations lack a thorough understanding of the technology and communities they aim to control. The modern internet is complex, fast-moving, and deeply integrated with privacy-preserving tools. Among the most widely used of these tools is the Virtual Private Network, or VPN. By using a VPN, individuals can mask their true location and regain access to content restricted by geographical filters. This common method of bypassing restrictions highlights the technical flaws in the enforcement of the Act. The effectiveness of VPNs in circumventing the legislation's controls reveals a deeper issue. The Online Safety Act may be fundamentally unfit for the modern digital landscape. Policymakers were warned by technical experts during the law's drafting phase that these systems could be easily bypassed and that the trade-offs in user privacy would be significant. Despite these warnings, the Act was passed, and now the public is experiencing the very outcomes that were predicted. As these problems unfold, public confidence in the law is eroding. Many are beginning to suspect that the Act was never truly about protection. Instead, there is a growing belief that the legislation serves more to regulate speech and access than to genuinely safeguard users. The timing of its implementation has only fueled this suspicion. The introduction of the law coincided with a wave of protests across the United Kingdom, yet digital coverage of these events was noticeably absent for users who had not verified their age. Unable to view videos, images, or discussions related to these protests, these users were effectively removed from witnessing a key moment in national discourse. This dynamic has painted a troubling picture, one not of digital safety, but of selective visibility. Those who refuse to submit their personal data are increasingly cut off from public conversations and current events. The result is a growing sense that voices are being quieted not through direct suppression, but by strategic restriction. If access to information is limited based on compliance with invasive procedures, then the internet becomes less of a public square and more of a monitored, conditional platform. Freedom of speech and the right to access information are foundational elements of democratic societies. When those rights are tied to personal exposure and identification, they begin to lose their integrity. Many people across the United Kingdom are beginning to fear that core democratic principles are being quietly weakened under the banner of safety. Worryingly, this model of regulation may not remain isolated to the United Kingdom. Reports have emerged of lawmakers in other countries considering similar legislation, citing the Online Safety Act as a potential template. This has caused concern among digital rights advocates around the world. If other nations begin to adopt similar restrictions, the collective openness of the internet could diminish, shifting toward a more controlled and compliant version of what it was originally meant to be. The true danger lies in how easily such legislation can be normalized. Once privacy is treated as a luxury and not a right, once access to knowledge requires personal sacrifice, the nature of the internet changes in ways that are difficult to reverse. The international community should pay close attention to what is unfolding in the United Kingdom, not as a success story, but as a cautionary example of what can happen when safety is used as a justification for control. To create a truly safe online environment, solutions must be based on transparency, strong technological foundations, and most importantly, respect for individual rights. Real safety does not come at the cost of privacy. It does not ask people to trade anonymity for access, and it should never prevent citizens from witnessing or participating in important public events. The implementation of the Online Safety Act has shown that even well-intentioned legislation can lead to unintended consequences. It has restricted access, increased risks to privacy, and given rise to distrust in public institutions. If digital safety is to be achieved, it must be through thoughtful policy, ongoing dialogue with experts, and unwavering commitment to the rights of the people it claims to protect. The internet is a shared space, and it should remain free, fair, and open to all. In recent years, the collective known as Anonymous has transcended its origins as a loose association of internet activists to become a symbol of global dissent and secrecy. While traditionally associated with cyber activism and political hacktivism, Anonymous has recently turned its attention to a seemingly different realm: mysterious weather phenomena. This shift has raised eyebrows and sparked speculation about the group's motives and the nature of these phenomena themselves. One of the notable instances where Anonymous addressed mysterious weather phenomena was in a series of cryptic messages posted on various online platforms. These messages hinted at unusual weather patterns occurring globally, ranging from sudden, unexplained temperature fluctuations to bizarre cloud formations, and even reports of localized storms appearing out of nowhere. An odd weather anomaly that was photographed over Bosnia and Herzegovina was the subject of one of their most recent posts. Oddly enough, the person who uploaded it claimed that it is very difficult to locate pictures of it online. The user said that hundreds of individuals had sent the incident to websites that look into unexplained weather anomalies when it originally happened. However, the user claimed that doing a reverse image search now yields nothing, leading them to speculate that an unusual occurrence may be occurring. Those who follow weather apps have been posting odd anomalies like this one lately. One anonymous user stated, "They are attempting to compile a photo book with all of the images, as many of them are disappearing off the internet." To produce forecasts and real-time updates, weather applications rely on a sophisticated network of data sources, such as satellites, weather stations, and numerical weather prediction models. These sources collect enormous volumes of meteorological data, which are then processed and analyzed by highly skilled algorithms to generate weather forecasts and visualizations that are available to people all over the world. Currently, there are a number of intriguing theories put up by anonymous members and investigators into why these anomalies are occurring. These theories include solar activity that is mysterious, experiments, and unidentified items. These claims were accompanied by purported satellite images and eyewitness accounts, although their authenticity remained uncertain. The choice of topic was striking, as it diverged from Anonymous's typical focus on socio-political issues. Instead of targeting specific entities or advocating for particular causes, Anonymous seemed intent on drawing attention to what they described as anomalies in the Earth's atmosphere. One theory that has been proposed is that this location is the subject of an experiment being carried out above, which is being concealed because it wasn't discovered until the very last minute. An anonymous user speculated that the experiment, which the weather app had discovered, might have been a military cover-up. The military may decide to conceal or delay this information, at least temporarily, for a number of reasons, even if the first instinct may be to notify the public and organize emergency response activities. First, evaluating the potential impact of these anomalies on national